Hey everyone, it's Chris here from the Reserve Pool, coming at you straight from my own basement. Today I want to share with you an unboxing and product review of the brand new Dice Masters Dungeons & Dragons Battles of Faerun. This is a super cool set. I've been really looking forward to this. As a longtime role player, D&D was what I cut my teeth on. And I couldn't get more excited when I saw that Dice Masters and D&D were teaming up for this set. I want to give a huge shout out to WizKids. Thanks so much for sending us a starter set and a handful of boosters. It was really generous and I can't wait to show them to you today. Also like to give another shout out to my friendly local game store. That's Dungeons and Dugouts here in Gillette, Wyoming. They got great prices, great staff. It's a family run place. I love playing there. Well, without further ado, let's get into some unboxing, shall we? Alright, so as you can see here, the starter set has become kind of a staple for Dice Masters. It's pretty much exactly what we would expect out of a full starter set. I believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Had less cards in their starter set, but the D&D set is exactly what we've kind of come to expect out of the Marvel sets. It's an awesome spread. You've got 8 characters with 2 dice each, and of course all 8 characters come with 3 different forms. I'm not going to go into these in detail right now, but I am going to, at the end of this video, show a quick run through of every single card that I have today, except for the duplicates. So you can take a look at those. You've got the 10 basic actions, a couple of dice bags, the expansion pack checklist, as well as Beholder, Blue Dragon, Gelatinous Cube, Green Dragon, Halfling Thief, Human Paladin, Troll, and Vampire as your starting set characters. The cards and the dice look fantastic. They really, really do. I like everything about these dice. Gelatinous Cube kind of has a little green translucent thing going on. I don't know if you can quite tell from this, but it's pretty nifty. All these dice look really good. The inking has just continued to get better, and all these starter set dice that I'm looking at do not have any inking problems that I can tell at the moment. They look really, really, really sharp. The cards are excellent. They're heavier than the past cards we've seen. They're a little bit heavier stock. They're just more firm. They're very nice. The art, as you can tell, is beautiful. I love the border designs. I love the factions and the alignments up top. They look fantastic. The art looks great. It's everything we kind of want to see out of a set like this. The 10 basic action cards follow the same exact thing as everything else. They look really, really good. They have great heavy cards. I just think this is a knockout set. You'll notice that Randy pointed this out in the blog. You're going to notice that the colors that came, this is the same colors as are in the Uncanny X-Men starter set. The pink, the brown, the purple, and the orange. Excuse me. And these colors look great. They look a lot different than they did before. They were hard to tell apart, but these are really easy to see the difference on. Randy talked about this. You can go read that blog post he put on, but absolutely. Sidekick dice look great as well. Exactly the quality we've come to expect. One note, just for collectors, is the expansion pack checklist is now just a piece of paper. It's like a photo print kind of paper, slick, glossy. That's fine with me. It didn't really bother me that they changed this instead of having a full heavy card. I don't really see a problem. It'll still fit in the sleeves. I keep mine in my notebook, and they still fit with another card, so it's not going to hurt anything. It's just not that heavy card that it was before. So that's the starter set. Looking really great. Let me clean this up, and then we'll get over to the Gravity Feed unboxing. All right, so here we have our Gravity Feed. It's a full 90 count feed. Each foil booster pack comes with 2 character cards and 2 character dice. And these are going to be a lot of fun to open, so let's get into the action. Well, it looks like my initial pulls are all set. Everything looks awesome. I managed to pull 2 super rares. I got the Red Dragon, Epic Dragon, looks like a beast. And I got the Tarask, Epic Aberration. Again, just another huge monster here, huge beast. I'm looking forward to showing you these cards in more detail. Give me a second to organize my board here, and we'll keep talking Dungeons & Dragons Dice Masters. All right, so here we have my Gravity Feed haul. This looks awesome. I got a whole lot of complete sets for what I needed. Got 23 rares, which is really good. I got a complete full common and uncommon set. I'm only lacking a few rares, and I got 2 of the 4 super rares. I got a lucky booster box that had 2 of the 4 super rares. I got Tarask and I got the Red Dragon super rare, so I'm missing the Mind Flayer and the Sturge. But that's off to a really great start. Looking at this set, I'm blown away. I'm so impressed by how great everything looks. Like I mentioned before, the cards are excellent quality. I think they're gonna age really well. They're gonna straighten out okay. The dice look really good. We have some similar color schemes we've seen before. A lot of the same greens and oranges and yellows and blues. And that's to be expected. There's probably only so many shades overall of those colors in the dice production. But everything looks really good. A couple of quick beefs I might have with the dice. If you take a look at Skeleton here and the Mummy, I don't know how well you can see this, but Skeleton and the Mummy, and then if you add the Dracolich, these dice to me look really similar. They're all kind of a grayish color, or grayish white, bone white kind of, with green, black, and whatnot on the front of that. So I'm trying to get this so you can see it. You probably can't, so I'll show a different angle on that. But those are like all the same to me, and I found that to be difficult. Like if you pulled that out of your bag and you weren't looking, that'd be tough to pick out. But that's okay. That's just a very minor quibble as I am reviewing these products. They're excellent looking. Some of my favorite dice, you've got the Mind Flayer, which looks really cool. The Invisible Stalker's a cool die as well. It's kind of a milky white die with a bronze or copper inking. The Tarask looks pretty cool. I like a lot of these dice. The Umber Hulk is a really cool like brown marbling that we haven't seen yet. Evan pointed out via a TRP chat channel that the unicorn die looked like Starburst, which just looked delicious. And I agree with that. They look like lemon Starburst. Look very good. What do I think about the cards? I think there are some incredible cards out there. I'm going to go over a few that I really like and I think are going to be useful. And I'll zoom in for those shots and kind of show you what I'm talking about. As far as it goes, I was very happy with all my pulls. I'm super pumped about playing this set, getting a chance to try it out. And I think my collection's off to an excellent start. Just have a very few holes to fill up. I got to tell you, for buying a 90 count feed in a collectible game and getting 23, I think I lack 3 rares. That is incredible. I got 2 out of 4 super rares. That's not too much to chase. I'm already really a long way there. So I think this is an awesome, awesome set. I want to show off some of my favorite cards so far. I've just got my first look at the set, so these aren't going to be perfect strategy looks, but let's take a look at some of my favorite dragons. Here we have Dracolich. Dracolich is a really cool dragon. He's a 7-cost mask. He's the Greater Undead Dragon, the uncommon form. He's got a breath weapon of 1, but I really like his card text ability. When fielded, you may purchase a basic action die at no cost and roll it. You may use it if it shows an action face. Otherwise, put it in your bag. That's really cool to me. And in a set that's going to see a lot of action card use, I think, you've got Elf Wizard manipulating action cards, you've got Red Dragon, you've got a lot of stuff manipulating actions. In this kind of a set, I think action control is going to be a good and interesting tactic. Here we have Copper Dragon. I love it. A 4-cost shield. Shield energy isn't our favorite, but 4 cost is good. Copper Dragon's got a breath weapon, again, of 1. But when he's fielded, you get to put a gear equipped to an opposing character into their prep area, which is cool because I think some of the gear is going to come into play pretty hefty, and being able to do some board control with that is going to be key. Copper Dragon's a 4/8. I forgot to mention on his top die. Dracolich is an 8/9 on his top die, so he's justified in having a 7 cost. He's a big old beat stick. 1, 2, 3 total fielding cost there of 6. So yeah, I mean he's a beat stick. Then you got Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon comes in at a 4 cost. He's a Bolt, which is an awesome energy type. We love to have that. He's got a breath weapon of 1 again. While he's active, though, whenever you use an action die's ability, deal 1 damage to all characters, both players. And I like that. I like the idea of dealing out indirect damage just for using action dice. He's got a TFC of 4, and he tops out at a 6/6. His stats are pretty good for the cost. I really think it's a good dragon. Those are some of my favorite dragons. This surely isn't all of them, but I just wanted to give you a quick look at some of them. Let's take a look at a couple pieces of gear. We've got a magic helmet here and a magic sword. The helmet is a 2-cost. Again, as we pointed out before, this set, the action dice, have a generic energy type. They're not a certain type. They're not a mask or what have you. These are generic energies, which is interesting. That changes kind of the way action dice have worked in the past. Magic helmet, since it's a gear, you have to equip it. It's got the equip function. Here's what it does. The equipped character cannot be affected by your opponent's action dice or character abilities. That's awesome. For a 2-cost, you can stick this on somebody and all of a sudden they cannot be affected by actions or abilities. Very handy if you have somebody you really want to use this with. Of course, it's got to be someone who can equip something, so it's going to be an adventurer most likely. Then you got Magic Sword. Magic Sword's a 4-cost. It's a Paragon gear. This is the rare form, and it has the equip function also. But it reads that characters damaged by this equipped character are knocked out at the end of the attack step. Boy, do I like that. There are some cards that could do some pretty cool damage with that. Again, assuming that you can equip them. Again, mostly adventurers are going to be the ones we equip. But it's a really cool card. I think for 4 costs, that's just not too bad of an ability. Next up, I want to show off a few of my favorite adventurer cards. And these are some really cool adventurer types I think we're going to see some play from in the D&D set. First, we got Elf Wizard. Elf Wizard, my favorite adventurer, probably already, bar none. I like wizards, and this is a really cool card. She's a 3-cost bolt. This is her common form. She's got the experience function, of course. She's a Harper by her affiliation. And then her card text reads this. When fielded, action dice costs 1 less to purchase. Love it. But a second part of her card text really intrigues me. When assigned to attack, move an action die from your used pile to your prep area. So you can pick up an action for cheaper. You can then put it in take it from used to prep and get it queued up for next turn. I love that. Her stats and her TFC's 1. Her stats are nothing to write home about. She tops out at a 2/4. But that's not what she's there for. She's not really there to attack. She's there to move actions around. A lot of the actions are spells, so it just makes a lot of thematic sense to me. I love that card. Then we got a half dragon. He's a lesser humanoid. Now, he's a monster, which is interesting, but I kind of think he's an adventurer card type because I think you'd use him in a monster-style looking deck. He doesn't have the experience mechanic, which tells you he's not really a true adventurer. While he's active, dragons cost you 1 less to purchase to a minimum of 1. I love that. Then, while he's active, your dragons get a +1 to attack, a +1 to defense when they're attacking. So he's commanding your dragon, sending him across. I like him as sort of a monster deck adventurer type. Last, we have a halfling thief, and this is the Master Zentarum thief. This thief is a 4-cost. She's Zentarum in affiliation. Really cool. She also has experience mechanic, like you'd expect from an adventurer. When assigned to attack, her ability reads, your opponent moves a die from his prep area to his used pile. So that's an anti-ramp, I would say. You're pushing dice from prep back to use, and I like that. Then her burst is really cool to me. When assigned to attack, you may knock out an opposing adventurer before your opponent moves the die. Now, I read that to say that before the opponent declares any defenders or anything like that, she can just KO somebody right away. I love that ability to take an adventurer out. So it's kind of like a backstab if you're thinking about that thematically, which of course I always am. She's got a TFC of 3, so she's going to cost you a little bit. She tops out at a 3/3 with stats, but she's got 2 burst sides, 2 burst faces. So the chances of you rolling her burst are pretty high, which is awesome. That's a great ability to use with a burst. Let's take a look at some monsters. This set is chock full of monsters, and I'm blown away. They're so cool. They're so iconic. Let's take a look at some that I really like. Here's the rare Frost Giant. This is the Paragon Elemental form. It's a 6-cost bolt. Frost Giant can have stuff equipped to him. So again, we're seeing equip outside of just adventurer cards. When Frost Giant attacks, after blockers are assigned, remove 1 blocker from the attack zone. Love it. I love board control. I think it's fun. And this guy's gonna see some play for me. He's got a high TFC at 6, but he tops out at 8/5. That's an 8 attack, 5 defense. Those are some big beefy stats. He's going to be useful in all of his faces. Here we have Gelatinous Cube. It's a 4-cost shield, the Lesser Ooze. I love what this guy's able to do. Whenever a character is knocked out during the attack step, you can pay a shield to have Gelatinous Cube capture it. This capture lasts until it is used again. When Gelatinous Cube attacks, you may assign one opposing character to block it. So it's interesting to me. You can call somebody out, sort of a pseudo-assassin, but also a makeshift imprisoned. It's a capture on the fly. Whenever they attack, you can bring someone over and you can pump Cube up or do something to make it make sure he KOs somebody and then use that shield to capture him. Again, this lasts until it's used again. So unlike imprisoned, you can go hog wild. You can attack and do damage. It's going to last until you choose to use it again from Gelatinous Cube. He's a TFC of 3, and he has 3 attack, 5 defense on his top dial, so our top face, excuse me. So he's best used as a blocker, but I like that. Mind Flayer. I could possibly not include a cool monster card review without Mind Flayer. He's just awesome. One of my favorite dice. I showed you that earlier. 6-cost mask is going to cost you. His TFC is a full 6, so he's pretty beefy, and he tops out at a 3 attack, a 7 defense. But you gotta love the Mind Flayer. He's a schemer, right? Well, let's look at his card text ability. When fielded, choose an energy type, canceling all previous choices. The same language we see with Loki's die, Gemkeeper. Creatures of that energy type cost your opponent 2 more to field while Mind Flayer is active. This effect lasts until you field another Mind Flayer. 2 or more to field when Mind Flayer is active. So he hits the board, he's your schemer, he puts his plots into play. You can hurt your opponent. Here we have Minotaur. Paragon Humanoid. This is a cool art card, and I like Minotaur's die. It's pretty simple, but I like it. He's a fist. Again, he can have equipment, so you can put a sword on him or a helmet, something like that. When assigned to attack, Minotaur captures 1 opposing die of a lower level. This die remains captured until the capturing die leaves the field or uses the ability again. I'm assuming that means that Minotaur uses the ability again. Like Cube, we have more board control. Minotaur is a TFC of 6, so he's going to cost you a lot. But he tops out at a beefy 7 attack and 4 defense, so he's going to be able to get in there and do some serious attacking. Remember, it's when he's assigned to attack, so he doesn't have to actually take any damage, so to speak. He doesn't have to be engaged with somebody, so to speak. I like that. I like that board control quite a bit. Here we got the Owlbear. Owlbear's a 4-cost fist. He's got a TFC of 4. He tops out at a 5 attack, a 6 defense, and this is his rare form. And I like this card. When an owlbear attacks, all opposing adventurers must block an owlbear if able. Now, how cool is that? You send owlbear across, everyone has to block him. He's probably going to KO some blockers, but it allows you to sneak somebody else in. That's just so awesome. I really like that synergy there that you can move something bigger in. And speaking of big beat sticks, here's where we get to something fun. Now, Red Dragon, these are both of my super rares, but they're both in the beat stick category. We have Red Dragon. He's an epic dragon. He's a 7-cost bolt, so he is hefty. His TFC is also 6. It's hefty, but his stats are beefy. He's an 8/8 on his top facing. He has a breath weapon of 3. That's right, 3. So remember breath weapon, how it works. You pay 3, then you're going to deal 3 damage to your opponent and all their creatures. So you can you can hurt a board quickly there. While active, once per turn, when you use an action die effect, you may use a second copy of its effect. So Red Dragon lets you copy an action die, which is pretty nifty. He also has a global, which I'm going to point out is rare in the D&D box. There's just not that many globals on character cards, that is. So we're not going to see quite the frantic global play we see in the Marvel sets or even in the Yu-Gi-Oh set. It's a lot less of an effect. But Red Dragon's global is pretty cool. You can pay a lightning once per turn. And when you purchase your next action die this turn, it costs 2 less, a minimum of 1, and you get to deal damage just for doing that. That's kind of a cool ability. I like that. Last, we have the Tarask, the Epic Aberration. This is a super rare form. He's a TFC of 6, you'd expect, because his top die is a 9 attack with a 7 defense. This guy is a beast. Now, he's got Regenerate, which we know is a new keyword or key term amongst character cards, basically what Regenerate means is you get to re-roll him whenever he's KO'd. Then whenever Tarask regenerates, knock out all of your opponent's characters of equal or lower level. That's right. Tarask regenerates, then he stomps the ground and everybody dies. I really think that's a very cool ability. It's a big board wipe. He's a big beat stick. I mean, come on, he's going to be a win con if you're using him. but that's a lot of fun. Last, I'd like to show off a couple of the new abilities or new keywords we're seeing floating around. This may not be all of them, so forgive me if I miss some. Again, I'm just going over the set for the first time. We've got the Kobold here who's got Swarm, and I'll talk about Kobold for a second because he's really neat. He is a greater humanoid. This is his uncommon form. He's a 1-cost fist. That's right, a 1-cost fist. He's cheap. He's a monster. You can put gear on him. He's got Swarm, which I just love. That's an extra draw during the clear and draw step. It's a brand new keyword term. If you pull him, you're going to get to do something special with his clear and draw step, which is really, really cool. He must attack if your opponent controls any adventurers, and at least one adventurer must block this Kobold if able. Now, he's got a TFC of 0, solid. He's not going to cost you anything. His stats are nothing to write home about. He's got a 1 attack and a 2 defense on his top. But for a 1 cost, what do you expect? This guy's the definition of a weenie deck. Something you can put together with the Swarm mechanic. I think he's going to see some play. Here's Mummy. Mummy is a 5-cost mass. This is his common form. Mummy has Energy Drain. Energy Drain works pretty simply. Whenever you have an engaged foe, you spin them down. So we see Energy Drain as a new keyword. He has an ability too. It's while active, mass characters cost you 1 less to purchase to a minimum of 1, which is a nice card, really. But I like the fact that he's got Energy Drain there too. That's pretty cool. He's got a TFC of only 1, so he's pretty cheap as well. He tops out at a 4 attack and a 6 defense, though, so it's interesting to see him if he'll get a lot of use or not. Then you got Troll, and Troll has Regenerate, which we just talked about a little bit ago with Tarask. He's a 4-cost fist, though. He's a minion humanoid, He's a TFC of 4 with stats. His top stats are 5/5, but he's got the Regenerate ability, just like you'd expect a Troll to be. And he's got Equip, so you can put stuff on him, swords, helmets, that sort of thing, any kind of gear. So that's a few of the new terms we're going to see. I think that's pretty cool stuff. All right, guys, that's all for my D&D Dice Masters Battle for Faerun product review and unboxing. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I got. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on what I saw. These were all first impressions. I'm sure a lot of my thoughts are going to change, but you'll hear about that in the blog and on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't have any of your D&D stuff in yet, go to your FLGS, spend the money locally, and pick up some of that stuff. If you're waiting for it online or whatever, don't be afraid. This is an awesome set. Don't be nervous about it. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. If you're brand new to Dice Masters, this is a great entry point. If you're an old player, you're going to really see a lot of cool options. If you're going to mix IPs, it's going to be a blast. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And until next time, this has been Chris with the Reserve Pool. Bye-bye.